March 6, 1940. In the forest south of the Kollaa River, a Finnish soldier is fighting at close range when a bullet tears through his lower jaw. His name is Simo Häyhä. By then, newspapers have already turned him into something larger than a man. Today, the internet gives him a precise number: 505 kills. Other accounts say 542 or 546. But those totals do not form a clean, modern record. This is not a scoreboard. It is the story of how a farmer, a battlefield, and wartime publicity created one of the Second World War's most durable soldier legends. The Soviet Union invaded Finland on November 30th, 1939. Finland was badly outnumbered, but its defense was organized around terrain, mobility, and small units that knew the country. Häyhä served in the 6th Company of Infantry Regiment 34, commanded by Reserve Lieutenant Arne Juutilainen. The regiment withdrew to a narrow river line at Kollaa, north of Lake Ladoga. It was not a heroic last stand by one man. Infantry, artillery, medics, runners, cooks, and supply teams all kept the position alive. Häyhä was one soldier inside that larger defense. He had been born in 1905 in Rautjärvi, near Finland's eastern border, and raised on a farm. He hunted, skied, served in the civil guard, completed military service, and trained as a marksman. None of that made him supernatural. It gave him thousands of ordinary repetitions: judging distance, reading snow, staying still, maintaining a rifle, and functioning outdoors when cold begins to distort judgment. When war arrived, those rural skills met military discipline. At Kollaa, Juutilainen moved Häyhä from squad duties into a more focused sniper role. His normal weapon was not a modern sniper system. It was a Finnish M28-30 infantry rifle, nicknamed the Pistikorva, with iron sights. Museum research says Häyhä did not use a telescopic sight in combat. Iron sights let him keep his head low, and he knew his own rifle intimately. Later accounts describe him preparing his position by packing or freezing the snow in front of the muzzle so a shot would not throw up a revealing cloud. The same accounts say he sometimes held snow in his mouth to reduce visible breath. These details are preserved testimony, not a surviving film of the moment. Kollaa was a place of constricted movement. Forest, deep snow, roads, tracks, and narrow lines of sight. Temperatures often fell below -20 Celsius, and at their worst, museum accounts placed them below -40. The cold punished everyone. A man could not simply lie in the snow all day without insulation, observation, food, and support. Häyhä used binoculars, chose positions carefully, and waited. The battlefield made marksmanship useful because movement became predictable, but it also makes individual accounting difficult. A casualty in a major battle cannot always be separated neatly from the fire around him. Häyhä's reputation grew quickly. His commander reportedly doubted the first claims and assigned an assistant to observe him. The reports continued. Finnish information officers and newspapers then made the quiet farmer into a symbol of resistance. In a memoir written months after the fighting, Häyhä called his count a list of sins. He wrote that it had reached 150 before Christmas. That phrase matters. It does not sound like a game. It also reminds us that even a first-person count is a wartime recollection, not a forensic record with a name attached to every shot. Now put the famous totals side by side. A February 1940 award citation credited Häyhä with 219 men shot using his rifle. Later unit records and accounts produced 259. Häyhä's memoir, written in August 1940, estimated around 500. Later publications give 542 and 546, and some versions mix rifle claims with submachine gun claims. Those categories are not equivalent. Finland's national biography uses the cautious phrase, more than 200. Even that is extraordinary. But 505 confirmed sniper kills is stronger than the surviving evidence allows. There is another reason to slow the counter down. Soviet soldiers were not marks on a screen. Many were conscripts pushed through terrible cold, poor information, and lethal ground. Finnish soldiers were freezing and dying too. A tally can describe military effectiveness, but it can also erase what it counts. Häyhä's skill was real, and the defense of Kollaa was real. Responsible history can say that without turning death into a competitive statistic. The uncertainty does not diminish the battlefield. It restores the human scale that the legend tends to hide. The name White Death would become inseparable from Häyhä. The usual story says terrified Soviet troops gave it to him. Secure contemporary Russian evidence for that specific claim has not been found. Researchers have argued that the phrase may have referred more broadly to the killing frost, the snow, or Finnish winter fighters, before later storytelling attached it tightly to one man. So the honest wording is simple. Häyhä later became known as the White Death. Who first named him, and exactly what they meant, remains uncertain. On March 6th, the legend met the physical reality of war. Häyhä was not hidden in a perfect sniper nest. He was acting as a squad leader during a Finnish counterattack near Ulismainen, south of Kollaa. In close fighting, a Soviet bullet struck his face. Häyhä later described it as explosive. It shattered his lower jaw. His comrades turned him on his side and called for medics. There was no cinematic duel, and no evidence that an elite sniper finally got him. A soldier was wounded in chaotic infantry combat 7 days before the war ended. He survived, but recovery lasted for years. Finnish sources describe more than 25 operations to rebuild his jaw. The injury left permanent asymmetry in his face and made speech difficult. On August 28, 1940, Field Marshal Mannerheim promoted him directly from non-commissioned rank to second lieutenant. When Finland entered another war in 1941, Häyhä wanted to return to service, but the severity of his injuries kept him from combat. The state could turn him into a symbol. His body carried the cost. Afterward, Häyhä farmed and hunted in Ruokolahti, trained hunting dogs, and often avoided publicity. The border had moved, and the home region of his youth was partly lost. He lived long enough to see his name travel through books, magazines, games, and internet lists, while the man himself remained quieter than the character built around him. He died in Hamina on April 1, 2002, aged 96. The nickname survived. The largest number survived. Neither tells us very much about the life after the shooting stopped. Take away the scoreboard, and something more interesting remains. Preparation, patience, terrain, a familiar rifle with iron sights, and one small part of an organized defense. Häyhä was neither a fictional superweapon nor a fraud created by propaganda. He was a highly effective soldier whose record passed through wartime reporting, later memory, and popular culture. History does not become weaker when we admit what cannot be proved. It becomes clearer. The number made Simo Häyhä famous. The evidence, and the human being behind it, make his story worth remembering.